So in this segment, we're going to do a classic bit of journalist gets owned by striking healthcare worker because she doesn't know. Oh, the journalist doesn't know what she's talking about, and she's trying to go for the gotcha moment, but the only person who got was her.
Anna, you were talking about this issue of how much is being paid to doctors while you are out on strike. Here's the headline: £3,000 a shift. How doctor strikes cost NHS fortune. People watching this programme will be aghast that is what's being paid out because you're on strike.
I'm aghast as well that the NHS has to pay private contractor rates to meet their essential needs. And this isn't just on strike days. This is on a daily basis.
And is it time to go back to work then?
So, the framing here is, because of these strikes, some doctors are being paid £3,000 per shift, right? When, this medical professional here, her point is that the NHS has to do this on a daily basis because they don't have the money to just have staff on rotation to fulfil the daily basic needs, minimum service, basically. And so the NHS has to pay these rates to private contractors. That's the key there. Private contractors, people who don't work for the NHS have to be freelanced in because they're not paying enough for these people to actually do these roles, or the staff just aren't available to do them. Like, the people don't exist to do these roles within the NHS, within the public sector.
You and your colleagues to go back to work to stop that amount of money being spent.
Oh, that's a lovely idea. Wouldn't it be nice if we went back to work and suddenly there wasn't a staffing crisis? There's a daily...
The sass is very high with this one, and I respect it.
Staffing crisis, a daily staffing crisis. It's not just on strike days. Every single day of the week there are theatres that are not filled with anaesthetists, so we can't operate. We could put out a rate of £3,000 a day to find one, but there aren't enough of us. That £3,000 rate reflects the maximum hourly rate recommended by the BMA for nighttime work for a consultant. That's a highly skilled individual bearing heavy responsibility at short notice in the middle of the night, and they are a private contractor.
All right.
Think of your locksmith out of hours, OK? We're talking about someone with infinitely more responsibility in their work as a private contractor.
Yes.
It is up to the private contractor what they wish to charge on an hourly basis. The outrage is not the hourly rate of a private contractor. The outrage is that the NHS needs to use them to cover essential everyday services. And that is not on the individual to solve. That is on the government to finance the NHS adequately so that this does not arise.
She got cooked, bro. I'm not going to lie. Like the journalist, Joe Coburn, I think she got absolutely... That was a fatality. And I do wonder, she was saying that there aren't enough... and I can't pronounce the word, but people who do anaesthetic, who inject it or whatever. I do wonder if hospitals are competing with each other for these private contractors, and it might be one of the reasons why they have such high rates or can charge such high rates, because I think that's the highest rate recommended by the BMA. But I do wonder if these hospitals are competing with each other to get the staff in, because that's a scary thought in itself. But I can't, like Joe Coburn, just to embarrass herself. Like, this is agenda-driven journalism where you try and look for a gotcha point and say, look, how dare you go on strike, and because of you going on strike, your colleagues going on strike, it means the taxpayers being hosed for £3,000 per shift for this job role, when it is an incredibly skilled job role, as she mentioned. The healthcare professional, I think her tweet's actually below here, her handle. She got a name, Dr. Warrington. As she mentioned, it's a skilled role, and she compared it to out of hours work. But the key point is the NHS wouldn't have to pay this much money if they had the staff on hand, if they had the trained staff, people on hand. But these people either go to the private sector, maybe they go abroad, or maybe we as a country just don't train enough people to do these roles. I don't know. There's so many fundamental problems within the NHS because of the Tories. But for journalists to try and go for these gotcha questions and try and clown medical professionals, Joe, mate, you're gonna need better propaganda than that, because that was some weak sauce. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Support the channel on Patreon if you can, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.